Beloved chosen one, I know you're watching this for a reason. It's not by chance that you're here today. Have you ever felt like something significant is just around the corner? Like a shift is coming that will change everything? Well, I believe God has led you to this very moment because something huge is about to unfold in your life. This isn't just another video. This is the final message you've been waiting for. What I'm about to share with you will shake you to your core, but it will also empower you in ways you never imagined. You are on the edge of a transformation so powerful that it will leave you speechless. God has chosen you for a purpose, and right now you are stepping into the final stage of your journey. Everything you've been praying for, everything you've been waiting for is about to manifest in your life. You've endured struggles, doubts, and rejection, but now it's time to rise above it all. This is the moment when your life changes forever, but you must stay with me. Watch this video until the very end. Don't skip. Don't let distractions pull you away, because every word in this video is meant to guide you toward the fulfillment of your destiny. I want to take a moment to thank you for your incredible support through Super Thanks. Your generosity means the world to me, and I am deeply grateful for your willingness to contribute. Whether or not you donate, your presence here today is what truly matters, and I'm so thankful that you're part of this journey. God has chosen you, and you have a responsibility to hear this truth, to feel the power of this message, and to spread it to others who are also chosen. The shift is real, and it's happening now. Your manifestation is closer than ever, but you must align with it. Before we dive in, leave a comment with the number 999! This simple act will send a powerful signal to the universe, increasing the energy of what's about to happen. For those who are truly chosen, you will stay with me until the end. Your spirit knows this truth. It's time to take action and let the universe know you are ready for what's coming. Don't let anything stop you from stepping into your power. Now, let's dive into this life-changing message, because when you do, everything will change for you. Keep watching and get ready to step into your divine purpose. God's chosen ones, you have to hear this. No matter the risk. Final message. Chosen one. In your life, there comes a moment when everything shifts. A divine moment where you hear God's call on your life and there is no turning back. This is that moment. The final message, a powerful announcement for those chosen by God to carry out His will. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to be chosen by God? What does it feel like to know that His plan for you is already set in motion, no matter the challenges ahead? This message is not for the faint-hearted or the ordinary. This is for the brave, the courageous, and the faithful, those who have been handpicked for greatness. You are chosen, and God is calling you to rise now. But have you asked yourself, what does it truly mean to be chosen? To carry the weight of God's call is a responsibility that many may not fully understand, but those who have been chosen are the ones who will answer, no matter the cost. In the Bible, God called David when he was just a young shepherd, overlooked by his family, but chosen to be king. 1 Samuel 16:7. The world may not recognize you now, but God sees your heart, your potential, and the greatness within you. Even when others doubt you, remember that God's vision for you is not bound by human expectations. His plan for you is divine, and no amount of skepticism or disbelief can change that. God has always chosen the ones whom the world would overlook. Look at Moses, who was called by God from a burning bush while tending sheep, or Esther, who was placed in a position of power for a time such as this. While others may mock you, doubt you, or even flat out reject the idea of you being chosen, let me remind you, their disbelief does not determine your destiny. God's plan is never dependent on the opinions of others. He sees your heart, your struggles, your commitment, and your faithfulness, even when no one else believes in you. God is with you, strengthening you for what is to come. Can you feel His presence now, chosen one? Are you ready to embrace the strength He has already given you? This reminder was lived out by someone like Oprah Winfrey, who overcame rejection and doubt from many around her. Despite the struggles and barriers, she rose above them all because she understood that her destiny was in God's hands, not in the opinions of those who doubted her. And you, chosen one, are no different. The journey ahead may be challenging, but you are equipped, just as God equipped the Apostle Paul, who once persecuted Christians, yet went on to become one of the greatest apostles of Christ. Acts 9:15. You are about to step into something so powerful, so transforming, that it will silence every doubter and show the world what it truly means to be chosen by God. When the time comes, your life will be a testament to God's glory, just as Joseph's life was. A young man thrown into the pit by his own brothers, yet destined to rule in Egypt. Genesis 50:20. God's plan is bigger than your past, your failures, or the opinions of those who cannot see His hand in your life. Are you ready to step into the purpose that God has already prepared for you? The time to act is now, chosen one. Don't wait for the stars to align or for perfect conditions. God has equipped you with everything you need, and you must trust that His purpose for you is bigger than anything you can imagine. Rise, step into your purpose, and trust that God will guide every step of your journey. This is the moment you have been waiting for. Will you answer the call? You have felt it coming, the stirring in your spirit, the pull on your soul. Something powerful is about to be revealed to you, something that will change the course of your life forever. Have you been listening to that still, small voice within you? The voice that calls you to action, to purpose, to a destiny beyond what your eyes can see. This is not a coincidence, chosen one. This is divine revelation. You are on the brink of receiving wisdom, insight, and direction that will unlock the very purpose for which you were born. It's like the moment when Jesus asked His disciples, "Who do you say I am?" Matthew 16:15. Their answer was divine revelation, the moment when the true purpose of Christ was realized in their hearts. Likewise, the revelation you are about to receive will be the key to unlocking the destiny you were always meant to fulfill. When this revelation comes, it will be like a light breaking through the darkness, illuminating every path before you. This is more than just knowledge. This is empowerment. The revelation you are about to receive will infuse you with a new sense of purpose, courage, and strength. Just like the Apostle Peter, who stepped out of the boat and walked on water because he trusted in the power of Jesus, Matthew 14:29. You will step out in faith, knowing that God's power is within you, ready to carry you. You'll feel a fire ignited inside of you, a driving force that propels you forward, ready to take on the responsibility of the mission God has set before you. No more second guessing. No more doubting yourself. You will walk confidently in your calling, knowing that God's hand is on you. Are you ready to walk in that confidence, chosen one? Will you trust in the power He has placed within you? Embrace this revelation with faith, knowing that it is a sign that God is ready to elevate you. You will no longer walk in confusion or uncertainty. You will stand firm in the light of His truth, fully equipped to spread His message to the world. Your calling is not just for you, it is for the generations that will come after you. Just as Martin Luther King Jr. rose to lead a nation in the fight for justice, you too are called to rise and lead with courage, knowing that God's truth is what will ultimately set people free. Will you rise, chosen one, to answer that call for justice and truth? Chosen one, this message is not for everyone. It is a divine call meant specifically for those selected by God to carry out His purpose. If you have felt the weight of this calling on your heart, you are part of a special group. Have you ever wondered why God has placed this heavy calling on you? What makes you different from the rest? This calling is not a coincidence. It is a sign that you are destined for something much greater. This isn't about being ordinary. It's about stepping into something extraordinary. The life you are called to live is far beyond what the world can offer. God is calling you to rise above mediocrity and to fulfill a purpose that is grand, even if you can't fully see it yet. Consider the story of Esther, who was chosen for a time such as this, Esther 4:14. Her purpose was beyond ordinary comprehension, and it changed the course of a nation. Can you feel that same pull on your heart, chosen one? The call to rise, to step out, and to live in the extraordinary. The world may not understand the burden you carry, the mission you've been entrusted with, but that's because it's not meant for everyone to comprehend. Your purpose is greater than the opinions of others. When God calls, He doesn't ask for public approval. Look at the example of Noah. He was called to build an ark when the world was filled with mocking and disbelief. Genesis 6:22. He did not need the approval of others to fulfill God's purpose, and neither do you. Will you trust that your mission is bigger than the world's understanding? You are chosen for a reason, and your purpose is greater than anything the world can offer. As it says in 1 Peter 2:9, "But you are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession, that you may declare the praises of Him who called you out of darkness into His wonderful light." You are called to a higher purpose, chosen one that will lead others into the light of God's truth. You are not called to fit in with the crowd, chosen one. You are called to stand apart, to be a beacon of light in a dark world. Like Jesus, who was set apart for a divine purpose, you too are called to live differently. He was misunderstood by many, but He never wavered from His mission. John 6:66-69. Are you ready to stand firm in your calling, even when it means walking alone at times? Will you shine your light, even in the darkest moments? It may not be easy to walk this path. Others may not understand why you do the things you do, or why you make the sacrifices you make, but know this: you are walking in divine purpose. God does not promise an easy road, but He promises to walk with you through it. The story of the Apostle Paul is a powerful example. He was constantly persecuted for his faith, yet he carried the message of Christ with unwavering strength. 2 Corinthians 11:23-28. His purpose was clear, and despite all the trials, he never faltered. Can you draw strength from his example, knowing that the hardships you face only refine your mission? While others may mock you or question your choices, you know that you are walking according to God's will. And that is a power unlike any other. Just like Mahatma Gandhi, who faced opposition throughout his life for his beliefs, you will find power in standing firm. His calling was to lead India to independence through non-violent resistance, and despite immense opposition, he remained steadfast. He understood that true power lies in fulfilling God's will. And you too, chosen one, have that power within you. Your journey may be filled with challenges, but remember this: God does not choose the weak. He chooses the strong, the resilient, and the faithful. Think about the story of David, who faced Goliath with nothing but a sling and a stone. His strength came not from physical power, but from the unwavering belief that God was with him. 1 Samuel 17:45-47. Like David, you are called to face giants, and God will equip you with everything you need to defeat them. Will you walk in the strength that God has already given you? If you're reading this, it means you've been selected for greatness. Embrace that with confidence, knowing that you were created for something far beyond the ordinary, as it says in Philippians 4:13. I can do all this through Him who gives me strength. Your greatness is not by your own doing, but by the strength God provides. Chosen one, there is nothing more painful than the sting of rejection, especially when it comes from those we love and care about. You may have felt the hurt of being mocked, belittled, or misunderstood by your friends, family, or even your peers. Have you ever asked yourself why those who should be your greatest supporters are the ones who seem to push you down? It can be overwhelming, but take heart. This is not the end. It is only the beginning of something greater. But let me tell you something powerful. God sees you. He knows your struggles, your heartache, and the weight of the rejection you've carried. And He is saying, this is your time to rise. Just like Joseph, who was sold by his brothers and faced years of hardship, rejection, and misunderstanding, God was with him every step of the way. In Genesis 50:20, Joseph realized, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." God sees the pain you're going through and has a purpose for it. While the world may not see your worth or understand your calling, God does. He has equipped you for moments like these. When David faced Goliath, everyone around him doubted his ability to win. But David knew that his strength did not come from the world's approval. It came from God. 1 Samuel 17:45. In the same way, you are equipped with everything you need to rise above the doubts and opposition. You don't need the world's validation to fulfill your calling. Will you trust that God has already given you everything you need to overcome? Moments where you must stand strong in the face of opposition and refuse to back down are part of the divine journey. The mocking and rejection you face will not last forever. In fact, it's part of your process of growth and refinement. Just like the goldsmith purifies gold through fire, God is using these trials to refine your character and build your strength. James 1:2-4 reminds us, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work, so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything." You are being tested, but you are also being strengthened. Take courage, chosen one. You are not alone. God is walking beside you through every rejection, every trial. Just as He was with the Israelites when they crossed the Red Sea, God is with you, guiding you and protecting you through every hardship. Exodus 14:21-22. The challenges may seem overwhelming, but with God by your side, you can overcome them all. Do you truly believe that God's presence is with you in every moment of rejection and hardship? He is molding you into the leader, the messenger, the warrior He has called you to be. This process is not easy, but it is necessary. Look at the example of Abraham, who was willing to sacrifice his own son because he trusted God's plan for him. Genesis 22:12. It was a painful test, but Abraham passed it because he knew that God's promises were greater than any sacrifice. Will you trust that the trials you face are shaping you into the person God has destined you to become? Trust that these challenges are temporary, but the purpose you carry is eternal. Like Jesus, who endured rejection, ridicule, and ultimately crucifixion for the eternal purpose of salvation, you too are called to endure these moments with a higher perspective. Hebrews 12:2. Your purpose is not for the temporary, but for the eternal. The moment has come for you to step into your divine responsibility, chosen one. The final stage of your journey is here. But let me be clear, this is not a time to rest. This is a time to rise. The Apostle Paul reminds us in 2 Timothy 4:7, "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith." Your race is not over, but it is time to step into the responsibility that God has prepared for you. Are you ready to embrace the race ahead, knowing that God has equipped you for the challenges to come? To take on the weight of your calling, and move forward with power and grace. God has prepared you for this moment. You've gone through the trials, you've faced the challenges, and now you are ready for the responsibility that awaits. This isn't just about doing a task, it's about embracing a sacred duty. Like Martin Luther King Jr., who carried the weight of justice and equality for millions, your calling carries a responsibility to change lives and make a lasting impact. He didn't back down in the face of rejection, and neither should you. Will you rise with the courage and power that comes from knowing God has called you for such a time as this? The responsibility you are about to take on is one that will change lives, including your own. God has chosen you to be His vessel, to carry His truth into the world, and that is a high calling. It won't be easy, and it will require sacrifice, but you are ready. You've been prepared for this moment your entire life. Step forward with confidence, knowing that God is with you. His hand will guide you every step of the way. This is your time to shine, to rise above the challenges, and fulfill the divine responsibility He has placed on your life. There is no turning back now, only forward into the greatness He has destined for you. God is about to speak to you directly, chosen one. The revelations you've been waiting for are coming straight from the source. You won't need to rely on others' interpretations or guesswork. God will speak clearly to your heart and mind, revealing His plans for you in ways that will leave no doubt. These revelations will empower you, guide you, and give you the wisdom to take bold action. As these revelations unfold, trust that they are tailored specifically for you. God is not giving you someone else's vision. He is giving you your own. These messages will bring clarity to your path and help you navigate even the most difficult situations. Remember when God spoke to Moses through the burning bush, saying, "I have indeed seen the misery of my people." Exodus 3:7. That was a direct revelation that shaped Moses' destiny. Are you ready to hear God's voice clearly, chosen one? Will you accept the call that is specifically meant for you? You will feel an undeniable pull toward the mission He has set before you. And with each revelation, you'll become more certain of your purpose. Be ready to act quickly when these revelations come. They will require bold steps, courage, and a willingness to follow where God leads you. Trust in His guidance, for He will never lead you astray. The time for action is now, and God will provide you with everything you need. Just as the Apostle Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, trusting Jesus' command, Matthew 14:29, you too must step out in faith when God calls. Are you prepared to take that leap of faith, knowing that He will catch you? When you're chosen by God, it's not a time for comfort or complacency. It's not a moment for you to relax and wait for things to happen. No, being chosen is a call to action. You have been handpicked for a purpose far greater than yourself. This is the moment to rise, to step out in faith, and to fulfill the divine mission that God has placed in your heart. Every step you take, every move you make, will have divine significance. Think of the example of Mother Teresa, who left her life of comfort to serve the poorest of the poor. She was chosen to fulfill a purpose that many could not understand, but she followed God's call faithfully. Like her, you are not here to wait for things to happen. You are here to make them happen. The world may tempt you with ease and distraction, urging you to slow down and live for yourself, but you know better. You understand that your purpose demands more. It's a relentless drive that comes from within, urging you to move forward and never stop. You are not here to wait for things to happen. You are here to make them happen. Your calling is unique, just like King David, who was chosen to lead Israel while his brothers were overlooked. 1 Samuel 16:7. When the world tells you to slow down, your calling urges you to press forward. The divine responsibility is yours, and it's time to take action. Every day, you will be given opportunities to step into your calling, whether it's sharing God's word with others, leading by example, or spreading His love. Your actions matter. Don't wait for the right moment. Create it. Trust that God will provide the strength, courage, and wisdom you need to keep moving forward. This is your time, chosen one. The world is waiting for you to act. Just like the civil rights leaders who stood for justice and peace, you too have been called to make a difference. Their courage to act in the face of adversity changed the world. Chosen one, if you're reading this, you've probably felt the sting of being misunderstood, dismissed, or even mocked by the people closest to you. Friends, family, and society may not see what God has placed inside you. They may laugh at your dreams, dismiss your faith, or criticize your choices. But know this: God believes in you. The path you walk is often lonely, especially when you're called to do something that others don't understand. But that's where your strength lies. Look at the story of Jesus, who was rejected and scorned by those around him, yet he remained steadfast in his mission. Matthew 13:57. Like him, you don't need others' approval to fulfill your calling. Will you trust that God's validation is all you need? You don't need their approval to fulfill your calling. You only need the approval of the one who created you, and he has already given you everything you need. While others may question your journey, God is cheering you on from heaven, ready to bless every step you take. Remember, it is in the face of mockery that your true strength is revealed. God is not only preparing you to spread his message, he is preparing you to be a light in a world full of darkness. Stand firm in your conviction, for in the end it's God's validation that matters most. His plans for you are bigger than any temporary rejection you may face. Just as Thomas Edison faced failure after failure before creating the light bulb, your journey may involve struggles, but it is all part of the process. Will you stay faithful, even in the face of rejection? You've felt it in your soul, the stirrings of a purpose far greater than anything you could ever have imagined. It's been there, growing within you, even in the moments of doubt and struggle. This is no ordinary journey. God is unfolding a divine plan for your life, and you are right in the middle of it. The story of Esther comes to mind, as she was placed in a position of power for a purpose she initially didn't understand. But God's plan for her unfolded in the perfect timing. Esther 4:14. What you're walking through right now is not just life as usual. It's the preparation for something extraordinary. In every challenge, every trial, God is refining you, shaping you into the person you need to be to fulfill your greater purpose. What you see today, the struggles and obstacles you face, are the building blocks of your destiny. Each step you take, no matter how difficult, is leading you closer to the powerful work God has prepared for you. You may not yet see the full picture, but trust that God is weaving it together in ways you can't comprehend. A greater purpose is unfolding right before your eyes, and every decision you make is part of that divine story. Stay faithful, stay focused, and keep moving forward. The best is yet to come, chosen one. Are you ready to trust God's process and move forward in faith, knowing that the best is yet to come? Chosen one, when you're called by God to share his word, it's not always easy. It's not always comfortable. In fact, it often involves taking risks. But here's the truth. When you stand firm in spreading God's truth, no matter the consequences, you are fulfilling your divine responsibility. Think of the courage of Martin Luther King Jr., who stood firm for justice and equality in the face of fierce opposition. He never backed down from spreading God's truth, even when it cost him his life. In 2 Timothy 4:2, Paul says, "Preach the word. Be prepared in season and out of season. Correct, rebuke, and encourage, with great patience and careful instruction." Like King, you are called to boldly share God's word, even when the world doesn't understand. Are you ready to take that risk, chosen one? The world may reject you, but you will never be alone. God is with you every step of the way, empowering you to speak His truth with love, boldness, and conviction. When you speak the truth, no matter how difficult, you are aligning yourself with God's will. Just as God gave the prophet Jeremiah the courage to speak His words to a rebellious nation, He will equip you with the strength and courage to speak His truth. Jeremiah 1:8. You are not walking alone. God's presence is with you. At times it may feel like you're standing alone, like the message you carry is too heavy to bear. But remember, God never calls His chosen ones to walk this path without His support. Jesus Himself faced rejection, mockery, and even crucifixion for the message He carried. Luke 9:22. But He pressed on, knowing His mission was divine. In the same way, you are called to stand firm in the face of opposition, knowing that God's truth is more powerful than anything the world can throw your way. Every time you share His truth, you bring light into darkness. Like Nelson Mandela, who fought against apartheid for justice and equality, your commitment to God's truth will inspire and bring light to those around you. Mandela faced immense opposition, but pressed on because he knew the truth had to be shared. Every time you stand firm in His word, you become a beacon of hope. Will you stand firm in the truth, knowing it will bring light to the darkness? Do not shrink back. God is with you, and He will provide everything you need to fulfill this sacred calling. God will equip you just as He equipped Moses when He called him to lead the Israelites out of Egypt, even when Moses doubted his ability. Exodus 4:12. God never calls you to do anything without providing what you need to do it. Will you trust that God will equip you for your calling? God is preparing you for something extraordinary. As you step into your calling, expect to undergo transformations, not just spiritually, but physically and mentally as well. This is a season of growth, a time when you will experience shifts in every part of your being. The more you embrace your divine purpose, the more you will be transformed. Just as Oprah Winfrey experienced a transformation in her own life, overcoming adversity and using her platform to spread hope, you too will undergo a transformation as God prepares you for the next phase of your journey. Your mind will become sharper, your body stronger, and your spirit more attuned to His voice. These transformations are a sign of the new path you are walking. You are no longer who you once were. You are being refined, sharpened, and prepared for greatness. Look at the story of Ruth, who was transformed from a widow in a foreign land to the great-grandmother of King David. God used her transformation to shape her destiny. Ruth 4:13-17. Embrace the changes, chosen one, for they are part of the divine work God is doing within you. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. Chosen one, the journey you've been on has been a series of tests, each one preparing you for what is to come. And now you've arrived at the final test, the moment when you must prove your faithfulness and your commitment to God's plan. This is not a time to falter, it is a time to stand firm, to show God that you are ready to take on the divine responsibility He has entrusted to you. Think of the story of Abraham, who was asked to sacrifice his son, Isaac. Abraham didn't hesitate because he trusted God's plan for him. Genesis 22:2. This is your moment, chosen one. Will you stand firm like Abraham, knowing that God will provide the strength and guidance you need for this final test? You've been through trials that have refined you, challenges that have made you stronger, and moments of doubt that have tested your resolve. But now is the moment to rise above it all. This final test is your opportunity to demonstrate that you are fully committed to fulfilling your calling, no matter the cost. The world may present obstacles, but like Job, who lost everything yet never lost faith, you are called to endure. Job 1:21-22. God has prepared you for this moment, and He knows you are ready. Don't shrink back. Stand tall in the face of adversity. Your destiny is at hand, and this is your time to prove to God and to yourself that you are worthy of the responsibility He has given you. Think of Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison, yet never wavered from his calling to bring justice and equality to South Africa. His perseverance through adversity changed the course of a nation. Like him, your strength will come through perseverance in the face of trial. Are you ready to step forward with boldness and confidence, knowing that God is with you every step of the way? As you step into your divine calling, you're not meant to walk this journey alone. God has strategically placed other chosen ones in your life, and together you can accomplish far more than you could ever do on your own. It's time to create communities, divine partnerships with others who share the same mission and purpose. Just as the early Christians worked together, spreading the gospel and building the church in unity, Acts 2:44-47. You too are called to surround yourself with those who share your vision. These communities will strengthen you, support you, and help you stay focused on the work God has called you to do. Don't isolate yourself in fear or doubt. Reach out to those who are walking a similar path, those who understand the weight of the calling you carry. There is power in unity, and God has placed these people in your life for a reason. As Jesus sent his disciples out in pairs to spread his message, Mark 6:7, you too are called to find those who can walk beside you in this mission. God is not only calling you individually, He is also assembling a collective group of chosen ones to fulfill His divine will. You are not alone in this journey. God is bringing together like-minded, purpose-driven individuals who are ready to work together to spread His truth and transform the world. This is a divine grouping, a team of believers who will rise together, with each person playing their unique role in His plan. Just as the body of Christ has many parts, each with its unique purpose, 1 Corinthians 12:12-27, you too are part of this divine assembly. Will you seek out those who share your passion, and together fulfill the calling God has for each of you? This divine assembly is not by chance. God is orchestrating each connection, each relationship, for a greater purpose. As you come together with others who share your calling, you will experience the power of unity. Together, you will be able to accomplish what you could never do alone. Think of the story of the Apostle Paul, who worked with his fellow apostles to spread the gospel across the world, Acts 13:2-3. Their collective work led to the establishment of churches and the transformation of countless lives. Are you ready to join in this divine unity, knowing that together you will accomplish great things? Now is the time to connect with others who are called like you. Seek out those who share your vision, your passion, and your faith. Together, you will accomplish great things, advancing God's kingdom in ways you never thought possible. The power of this divine community will propel each of you forward, giving you the courage and support needed to fulfill your destiny. Just as the great leaders of history have united to bring about change, your collective effort will bring about transformation on a scale you never imagined. Chosen one, as you take on this divine mission, trust in one thing above all: God will provide. Every resource, every tool, every strength you need will come from Him. He has equipped you for this journey, and He will never leave you lacking. When you step out in faith, God will provide everything you need, physically, mentally, and spiritually, to accomplish the work He has set before you. This is a moment to trust Him completely. Whatever you lack, He will supply. Wherever you are weak, He will make you strong. You do not have to fear or worry about how it will all come together. Your job is to walk in faith, knowing that God is in control and that He will provide everything necessary for you to succeed. Look at the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. When they had no food, God provided manna from heaven, Exodus 16:4. When God calls you to a mission, He provides what you need. Can you trust that He will supply all you need for this mission, chosen one? So step forward boldly, chosen one. Trust that God has everything in place for you. Your mission is not only possible, it's already in motion. And with God on your side, there is nothing that can stand in your way. When God calls you to spread His message, there's no time to hesitate. It requires courage, boldness, and a willingness to take risks. Think of Esther, who risked her life to speak to the king in order to save her people. Esther 4:16. Her courage in stepping forward, even at great personal risk, changed the fate of a nation. Like Esther, you are called to rise with boldness, knowing that God's plan for you is already in motion. Will you step forward without hesitation, knowing that God has equipped you for this moment? In this moment, you must decide, will you stand firm in your calling, or will you shrink back in fear? The risks are real. You may face ridicule, rejection, or even persecution, but God's power is greater than any opposition. You are not walking this path alone. The very act of stepping out in faith and spreading His truth will ignite a fire of strength and courage within you that you never knew was possible. Every step you take in boldness will empower you in ways you cannot yet comprehend. Just as the Apostle Paul faced persecution and hardship, yet pressed on with faith, God will empower you to overcome every obstacle. 2 Corinthians 11:24-28. As you step forward, know that you are not just fulfilling a responsibility, you are embracing a divine mission that has eternal significance. Each risk you take brings you closer to the fulfillment of God's plan for your life. Don't be afraid of the unknown. Trust in God's plan and take the leap. The rewards of obedience far outweigh the temporary discomfort of risk. This is your time to shine. The world is waiting for you to take action, to be bold in your faith, and to spread the message that will bring transformation to everyone you encounter. Look at the story of Martin Luther King Jr., who took bold action in the fight for civil rights, despite the risk of violence and rejection. His obedience to God's calling led to monumental change. With God by your side, you will not fail. The risk is worth it because the victory is assured. As you step into your calling and spread the message God has given you, expect to experience a surge of divine power flowing through you. This is not your strength, but the strength of God Himself, empowering you to fulfill your divine purpose. It's not just about words, it's about the transformation that happens when you speak His truth with conviction. Just like when Jesus promised His disciples that they would receive power when the Holy Spirit came upon them, Acts 1:8, God will empower you with His divine strength. Can you feel His power stirring within you as you embrace the call? You may begin to notice physical and mental changes as you embrace your mission. Your body may feel lighter, your energy may increase, and your mind will become sharper. This is God's power activating within you, enabling you to accomplish His will with clarity and purpose. As you step forward in obedience, your transformation will be visible to those around you. People will begin to notice the changes in you and will be drawn to the truth you carry. You are not just spreading a message. You are becoming a vessel of God's power, His light, and His love. Every revelation He gives you will be accompanied by His empowerment to share it boldly. Chosen one, as you move forward, remember that this power is not yours to boast about. It is a gift from God. Use it wisely with humility and grace, knowing that your mission is far greater than anything you could achieve on your own. You are a vessel for the divine, and through you, God's power will reach the world. Just as the Apostle Paul wrote, "For we do not preach ourselves, but Jesus Christ as Lord, and ourselves as your servants for Jesus' sake." 2 Corinthians 4:5. You too are called to serve, not in your own strength, but through the power God gives you. Will you walk humbly, knowing that the power you carry is not yours, but God's. When God reveals His truth to you and calls you to fulfill a divine purpose, you should expect transformations that will surprise you. Think of the story of Saul, who was blinded and transformed into Paul by God's revelation on the road to Damascus. This was not just a spiritual shift, but a complete transformation of his entire being. Likewise, God's calling will bring about changes that align you more deeply with His will. This is not just a spiritual change, it's a physical and mental shift as well. As you embrace your mission and step boldly into your calling, expect to feel shifts in your energy, your mindset, and even your physical body. You may notice increased vitality, a renewed sense of youthfulness, and a surge of mental clarity. These changes are a sign that God is strengthening you for the journey ahead. Just as Queen Esther, empowered by God's calling, stepped into her role with newfound strength to save her people. Esther 4:14. You too will feel God's power work through every part of you. Can you feel your strength increasing as you step into your divine mission? The more you dedicate yourself to spreading His message, the more you will feel these shifts. It's as though your entire being is being realigned to fulfill the destiny God has prepared for you. The transformation you will experience is not just for today. It is part of your long-term preparation to fulfill your calling. Just as David was anointed and strengthened by God for the future battles he would face, God is preparing you for what's ahead. Are you ready to embrace the realignment that is happening within you? These transformations may seem unusual, but they are a part of God's preparation for you. As you grow stronger, physically, mentally, and spiritually, you will become more equipped to handle the challenges and responsibilities that come with your divine mission. Just like the renowned leader Nelson Mandela, who, despite facing long imprisonment, emerged stronger and more resolved to fulfill his calling, your transformation will prepare you to overcome obstacles. Don't be afraid of these changes. They are evidence that God is at work in you, preparing you for something great. Chosen one, in this season, expect the unexpected. You are not the same person you were before you received God's calling. You are being transformed into the person you were always meant to be, and this transformation will empower you to fulfill your mission with greater clarity and strength. Just as the Apostle Paul writes, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here." 2 Corinthians 5:17. This transformation is not just about changing your actions, but your very identity, preparing you for the mission ahead. Every moment in your journey is a test, and it's leading you to a defining moment, the moment when you must prove that you are ready to uphold the truth that God has revealed to you. Think of Daniel, who, despite facing the threat of death in the lion's den, remained faithful to God's command to pray. Daniel 6:10. His unwavering faith in God was the defining moment that set him apart. Just like Daniel, you will face tests that will define your commitment to God's truth. Will you stand firm when the stakes are high? This test is not just about your knowledge of His word. It's about your willingness to live it out and share it with the world. It's about the courage to stand firm in your faith, even when the world mocks or rejects you. Like Jesus, who was mocked and scorned for his teachings but remained steadfast in his mission, you too are called to stand firm, even when facing opposition. This is not a test you can take lightly. The stakes are high, and the responsibility is great. But remember, God does not call those who are not ready. He has already equipped you with everything you need to pass this test. Just as David was equipped by God to defeat Goliath with only a sling and a stone, 1 Samuel 17:45, you too have been equipped with everything necessary to overcome the challenges ahead. Will you trust that the strength, wisdom, and courage you need are already inside you, ready to be activated. As you face this test, expect challenges and obstacles to arise, but know that each challenge is an opportunity for growth. Each moment of doubt is a chance to trust God more deeply. The story of Thomas Edison comes to mind. Despite facing repeated failures and setbacks, he pressed on with faith in his vision and ultimately changed the world with his inventions. Just like Edison, each setback you face is an opportunity to grow stronger and more resolute in your purpose. Each challenge is an opportunity for you to trust God more. This test is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you into the person God has called you to be. The final test is not about success or failure. It's about faithfulness. Just as Job endured unimaginable loss and suffering but remained faithful to God, you too are called to remain faithful, no matter the circumstances. Will you choose faithfulness over comfort, even when the road is hard? Will you uphold God's truth no matter the cost? Will you continue to spread His word even when it's difficult? If you can answer yes, then you're ready to step into the fullness of your calling. Like the Apostle Peter, who, despite persecution, boldly preached the gospel, Acts 4:19-20, you too are called to step boldly into your mission. Trust that God will be with you every step of the way, guiding you through each challenge. Chosen one, when you accept your divine calling, there's no turning back. God is asking for your full commitment, every ounce of your energy, your time, and your resources. This mission is not just a part of your life, it is your life. When you say yes to God's call, you are stepping into a responsibility that requires everything you have. There is no halfway. It's all or nothing. Just as Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross daily and follow me." Luke 9:23. The calling is complete commitment, no turning back. This is not a journey for the faint of heart. It's a journey that will test your resolve, your faith, and your commitment. But it's also the most fulfilling journey you can take. The rewards of obedience far outweigh any sacrifice you may have to make. Think of the great sacrifice and commitment of Harriet Tubman, who risked her life many times to lead others to freedom through the Underground Railroad. Her commitment to her mission changed the lives of many and showed that obedience to God's call can change the world. Like Harriet, you are called to a mission that will challenge you, but also fulfill your divine purpose. And as you give your all to God, you will find that He provides everything you need along the way. You won't have to do it alone. The commitment you make to God's mission will change the course of your life forever. You will no longer be bound by the limitations of the world or the expectations of others. You will walk in freedom, knowing that your purpose is divine and that you are fulfilling the highest calling. The story of the Apostle Paul is a powerful example. He gave up his past life of status and wealth to pursue the calling God had for him, and in return, he found a freedom and fulfillment in Christ that far outweighed his previous life. Philippians 3:7-8. Will you step into that same freedom and purpose, leaving behind the limitations of the world? Remember, God is faithful to those who are faithful to Him. As you commit fully to your mission, you will see His hand move in powerful ways. You will experience His provision, His guidance, and His strength in ways that will leave you in awe. Just as David trusted in God's guidance as he faced the giant Goliath, and God provided victory, you too will find that as you step out in faith, God's power will be with you. 1 Samuel 17:45-47. Will you trust that God's faithfulness will sustain you through every challenge, just as He did for David? There is no greater purpose than this, and it is worth every sacrifice. As you walk through your divine calling, one of the most powerful things you can do is connect with others who are on the same path. You're not meant to carry this responsibility alone. God has placed other chosen ones in your life to help you, support you, and grow with you. Just as the early church was united in purpose and shared everything in common, Your community of believers is essential to fulfilling your mission. Acts 2:44. These are the people who will pray with you, encourage you, and hold you accountable. Together, you can share revelations, exchange wisdom, and work collectively to spread God's truth. In this network, you will find strength, encouragement, and inspiration. When the road gets tough, these individuals will lift you up. When you feel weak, they will help you find your strength again. Just as Oprah Winfrey found strength in her support network during the challenges of her early career, you too will find that your community will empower you to rise above any obstacles. Together, you will rise and fulfill your divine responsibilities. Will you seek out those who are called alongside you and build a network of believers who will stand with you in this journey? Together, you are unstoppable. Will you trust that God has placed these divine connections in your life to strengthen and guide you on your mission? Beloved chosen one, as you step into your divine mission and embrace your responsibilities, know that God will bless you abundantly. The act of obedience will unlock rewards that go beyond what you could ever imagine. These blessings may not always be material. They will often be spiritual, emotional, and relational, but they will be just as real and just as fulfilling. The more you dedicate yourself to spreading God's word, the more He will pour His blessings upon you. You will see favor in areas of your life that you never expected. Relationships will be restored, your heart will experience peace, and your mind will be filled with clarity. The blessings of God are not just for you. They are meant to flow through you to others. Expect God's rewards to come in unexpected ways. As you remain faithful to your calling, He will bless you with resources, wisdom, and opportunities to expand His kingdom. You will find that every sacrifice you make is worth it, and every step of obedience brings you closer to the abundant life God has promised you. This is not a life of scarcity, it is a life of abundance. And as you spread His message, those around you will also be touched by the blessings God is pouring out. Your obedience will lead to a harvest of blessings that will impact not only your life, but the lives of those you touch. Every divine mission comes with its challenges. The road will not always be smooth, and the journey will not always be easy. There will be times when you feel overwhelmed, when the weight of your responsibilities seems too much to bear. But remember, it is through these struggles that your faith will grow stronger, your character will be refined, and your calling will become clearer. God has already equipped you with everything you need to endure. He's given you the strength, the courage, and the perseverance to face every obstacle head-on. Each challenge you encounter is an opportunity for growth. As you press forward, you will find that the strength you need is always available to you, through prayer, through community, and through your trust in God. The struggle is not in vain. Every moment of hardship is shaping you for something greater. Keep your eyes on the prize and stay faithful, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. His great grace will sustain you, His love will carry you, and His strength will empower you to overcome every obstacle. Trust that the victory is already secured. No challenge is too great, no struggle too hard. With God on your side, you can endure anything, and in the end, you will emerge stronger, more faithful, and more equipped to fulfill your divine purpose. I want to take a moment to thank you deeply for joining me today and being part of this journey. Whether you choose to support through a donation or not, your presence here means so much, and I am incredibly grateful. If you feel led to contribute, I invite you to use the Super Thanks feature. Your support helps us continue sharing these messages with others, but please know, your participation in this mission is valued just as much, no matter the contribution. Thank you for being part of this community. May God bless you abundantly, chosen one. May He guide every step you take, fill your heart with peace, and equip you with everything you need to fulfill His divine purpose for your life. Keep your faith strong, knowing that His love and strength will carry you through every moment. I pray that you continue to walk in His purpose, spread His truth, and live the abundant life He has promised. You are chosen, and God's grace is with you.